Alright, welcome back to my channel today. The brutal truth about dating. Hell, the brutal truth about everything, period. Now, if you clicked on my channel here, right, specifically this video, this is what you're going to get. The raw, unedited, just brutal truth and the hardest pill to swallow. Because everybody has an opinion on this, right? Everybody thinks they're right. Everybody pretty much universally agrees, right? Especially when they talk about this topic. But I give you a different angle. I give you an angle beyond. So simple that it's hard. And now what's hard is, one, the acceptance. Two, the mastery. And then, believe it or not, the application. Because the application puts you on a whole nother realm. Right? That's the hardest thing to do, despite you knowing what to do. But anyways, got a video here, right? This guy talking about dating in your 50s. Now, here's my point when it comes to this, right? We're going to jump right in. My point is, dating doesn't change. Only the variables. Your situation. Her situation. Age is but a number. Now understand the brutal truth, and this is the part that a lot of guys do just straight up don't accept, right? Is that women don't change. So you'll hear that first here in this channel. They don't change. They only get old. But ultimately, they don't change. Now, go ahead and jump in. I'll show you what I mean.
And ladies that are watching this, well, you might learn a few lessons as I kind of run through some of the issues that exist and what I think guys should do about it. So let's start with the oldest range down to the youngest range that he was contemplating dating, because I think this is the range most guys in their 50s will look at, obviously. I mean, the better shape that you're in, the more money you have, the more interesting and captivating you are, the more options you're obviously going to have. So those dating ranges open up a lot for guys, for seasoned men, let's say, with a little bit of salt and pepper in their hair or their beard, as far as options to date. They can go.
All right, now understand what he's saying there, okay? He's going to go on to explain all the variables, right, of stepping up your game and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, understand that him himself overlooks what he himself said. Now, here's what I'm pointing out. Your options. So ultimately, it's not about negotiating, is it? It's not about having money, is it? It's not about any of that. Understand, it's only your options. So understand, again, when I said it's easy, right? It's so easy, but you must understand what is actually going on. And what is actually going on, and I've said it in plenty of my videos, is that all dating is, or relationships for that matter, or anything in life, it's a game. Chess. That's it. And the only thing that matters are your pieces. Your positioning in the game. Right? You must understand the rules for you to play the game. So it doesn't really matter where you're at, just so long you understand that indeed it's a game. And if you can figure out where you stand, what your pieces are, trust me, the game becomes easy. Beyond easy. Matter of fact, you win all the damn time. Okay? So now, he himself is saying it. There it is. Right? If you got money and this and that, then you got your little options. Now, it don't mean you win. That means your options of who you're going to play with. That's my point. Okay? Let's continue.
Go as young as into the 20s, or some of these guys prefer more seasoned women into their 50s. But the first complaint he's got, the menopausal women in their 40s and 50s. Look, I'm not personally attracted to older women, so I haven't dated in that range much, if I'm being honest. There was a few that were in real good shape when I was single that I dated, and what he's talking about is true. There's all kinds of issues that exist, and a lot of the times, even though he mentioned it in the 30s and 40s, was talking about baggage, I think one of the things that exists as women get older in general is they tend to hold on to baggage a little bit more than what I've seen guys Guys do as well, don't get me wrong, but women, when it comes to, you know, the amount of he hurt me, he abused me, he was a bad relationship, he took advantage of me, he insert whatever issue, and it's like every he did something to me is some guy that they might have dated for a short period of time, long period of time, or even were in a long-term relationship with for a few years. Every one of those guys, you can write whatever issue happened on a brick with a Sharpie and put it in a burlap bag and throw it over her shoulder because she carries that shit around like it's a badge of honor. And if
This is true, 100% true. Now, I talk about this in my whiteboard episode somewhere in my library there. But basically, just kind of the way he described it, right? You write something on a brick and put it on her back. My description is the whiteboard. All right, now every dude that she has ever dated writes on this whiteboard. And everything that happens is on there as a record book, right? Now she will carry it, keep it, and all that. Now here's my point. My understanding, or in this case, my part of the teaching here, if you made it this far. Okay, you must understand this. It's a simple tool, what I'm giving you, okay? The whiteboard. If you understand, right? If you actually understand what this means, if it's a whiteboard and you get to write on it, and you understand there's some certain things written on the whiteboard already, and you understand how this works, and I know how it sounds, then you can decipher whatever problem is on the whiteboard and maneuver your game piece, right, around whatever problem is on the whiteboard. Understand? I'm going to do this slow. Once you identified whatever the problem may be, then you can identify what you must write next on the whiteboard to basically overwrite whatever the dumbass thing is on that whiteboard. Adding your own code, all right, to the whiteboard, and therefore all the little red flags and everything you fear and all the stuff that doesn't make the relationship work or whatever the hell, which at the end of the day you shouldn't even be looking at anyway. You should be looking at her directly. Her on that day. Okay? Not the future, not what will happen, but her on the day, on the moment, on the spot. That's it. Because you're playing one game at a time. Tomorrow will be another. Trust me. But anyways, I hope you understand. That is what I offer to you once again. Pretty simple stuff, okay? It's the understanding and then application, which is the hardest. But that's how it works. And because how it sounds, of course, nobody's going to be on board with me. Especially social media and the world at large, right? The powers that be. They are not going to give you, right? Oh, yeah, apparently, right? Here's the answer. Because nobody wants to give the answer. For a lot of different reasons. But that's a whole nother video. Right? At the end of the day, this is the ultimate cure. All right? To the problem. This is gold for those that can understand, right? And are at the very least strong enough and are willing to learn, okay? Because that's another thing, right? Most guys go hear this and go, don't get it, don't whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you know, all roads do indeed lead to Rome. Anyway, let's continue.
For being honest, it really isn't. It's nothing to be proud about. It's nothing to brag about. It's nothing that nobody even sees because it's an invisible burlap bag full of your baggage. And it's heavy. And it weighs the woman down. And it weighs down the relationship. And it makes it hard for the guy to have a pleasant experience dating her because she's often guarded. Oh, because so-and-so did this to me, then I'm going to assume that either all men are like that or you might potentially do that to me as well or blah, 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 blah. And there's not a basket case. There's a lot of mental cases out there. And again, I don't see people doing the work on that and sort of like moving through it and trying to understand why. I think guys are...
Well. What did he just say? What did I say? He is saying the same thing without the explanation. It's just basically, well, Nobody's maneuvering through the baggage and doing the work. It's about doing the work, and that's the point. If you don't do the work, then you're shit out of luck. And most guys now, especially nowadays, don't want to do the work. They think everything can just be fixed by throwing money at it, and don't realize, in reality, you've become a target. That's it. All right? That's it. Why you think some of you guys' boy, Tate, which is now arrested, right? Now, whether he did it or not, I wouldn't know. I wasn't there, right? So, and I'm no one to be judging. But understand, he made himself a target because that's his whole game, right? Have millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. And yes, at the end of the day, you can get some girls with money, yes. But is it legit? Now, this is where you run into a problem, right? He made himself a target, and now he's taken out. That's it, right? Pretty simple, right? Simple stuff. You got a Bugatti. Oh, yeah, all right. Girls will flock to your car. But why? Now, if your reasoning is because of the Bugatti, well, understand your game is flawed because it didn't come for you, Tate. They came for your car, your money, and your shit. And while all that stuff was cool, right, ain't nobody gave a rat's ass about you, ultimately. The guy, right? The man. So that's what I teach you, to become the man. Not the damn target, the mark, But anyways, that's whole nother video too. Let's continue.
Are more logical in a sense where if something goes sideways, they look for logical reasons to sort of get some answers as to why that happened, and they kind of work through it, sort of stuff.
I know kids are expensive as
telling me.
So this year, I'm just going to spend less on them. You should try it.
Europe river cruising.
Basically, don't buy
13 days, $29.99, including flights with holiday.
I don't
ruin my video, but
see that happen as much as with the ladies. So I think the older the ladies get, and when you're talking about the 40s, 50s, yeah, you're dealing with menopausal women. There's a reality that comes with that. With men, their testosterone levels drop about 1% per year from the age of 30 on, and you can pretty much fix that with testosterone replacement therapy, from a doctor or from a clinic. The hormone replacement therapy clinics, they work very well to solve those sorts of problems. There's clinics that deal with women as well, but you can't balance a woman's hormones the same way that you can with men, because when women go through menopause, the eggs stop dropping, and you can't make those happen again. It's not like you can inject that or that happens. What they do is they give them a different...
So what is he saying? He's saying they're shit out of luck. Period. Which ultimately, if you're not a woman, in this case, sad but true. If you're not, and worry not, because ain't no woman watches my videos, so we should be all right. The other point is, you shouldn't be looking at that. I'm trying to tell you, you should be looking at you. Women don't change. It doesn't matter. What they want doesn't change. Menopause and all that other shit doesn't matter. We're talking about you. And that's the biggest secret, right? Most guys don't want to look in the mirror. The brutal truth. It's just, it is what it is. And the brutal truth is this, to give you an even more simple picture, right? You are judged, right, and played in the game, right, for whatever age bracket you are in, right? There's certain things that women look at, or at least expect from certain guys, especially if you're 50. Think about that. Okay? Being in your 50s and being in your 40s and your 30s and even your 20s, they're all different levels of game. That is expected, right? It's like having a black belt, right? White belt and blah, blah, blah. So a woman looks at a 30-year-old and expects 30-year-old experience. Understand? Simple. So when a girl looks at a 40-year-old, she expects same thing, right? 40-year-old things. And when you reach 50, if you're lucky and ain't a complete fuck up, and you reach your 50s, right? for reals, then 50-year-old wisdom is expected. Now, if you're a complete fuck up and somehow survived to your 50s and you got nothing to show for it, well, there you go, right? Pretty self-explanatory, right? But at the end of the day, dating is a beautiful game. Beautiful game because it's not about all that. It's understanding what I just said. Then you can maneuver, right, into actually successfully dating and winning the game, right? But understand that some stuff is expected of you at that age, and that's the point, right? But anyways, hope you understood that. Let's continue.
Different cocktail, a different mixture of estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, sometimes DHA. There's a whole bunch of different things they give them to try to fix that, the moods, the hot flash, the cold flash. So it's a serious set of issues that you're going to deal with. You probably deal with less brattiness and entitledness, although that's not always true.
I wonder why.
With older women, but they can be a little easier to deal with. I think
Why?
by the time they hit their 40s, they generally understand that their sexual market value isn't as high as a gal in her 20s.
Ah ha ha. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. Well, there you go. See, I'm telling you, it's simple stuff. and while he calls it the high value market, sexual market, or whatever the hell, it's literally her placement in the game. She now knows she's done, right? Age-wise, but mostly physically wise, right? And can no longer play, right, her part that she could when she was the princess, understand, in the game. Or the queen, of the game. Remember, this game of chess has pieces, right? There's the pawn, the rook, right? The regular soldier, the king, queen. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand which piece are you. Now, women can only be what I said, right? Sadly, but the queen, right? The potential princess. Or the maid, which now you're screwed, right? That's it. Now, the guy can be any piece. That's the beauty of it. You can play as any piece is my point. But anyways, I'll do a video on the game pieces later. Let's continue.
Although, again, it's not always true. There's a lot of delusional women out there that think that they deserve, a Brad Pitt with loads of bank and a couple of yachts and a plane and lots of vacation homes, and all they bring to the table is a bunch of debt and 2 or 3 kids, probably from 2 or 3 different fathers in tow. So there's that to contemplate. One of the best things I think that you can do, guys, especially if you're in your 50s and you're looking at, getting out and dating and trying to make your experience a little bit better anyway, is definitely read my book if you haven't already.
Anyways, this is where he plugs his thing. So the point is, and understand, they do not change. Okay? Now, if you're going to take anything out of this video, and we'll end with this for today, understand what you are dealing with. Okay? And you'll hear it here first. Women are the ultimate players. Okay? Because they will play hard and understand somehow that it is the game. Okay? Then they play regardless of winning or losing. And they play full on and damn near they're experts at this game. And they don't care what position, right? What hand they got. Up, down, shit hand, top hand, middle hand, shitty play, it doesn't matter. They will indeed play. And they play hard. They play to win. Okay? So if anything, you must learn from your opponent. Right? They do not quit. They will play. Hell, they love the game. Most of everything, if you understand the truth and what I'm saying. It's all about playing the game, at least for them. That's it. They don't care about another stuff. That's why they have an advantage. Because they live to play the game. They do not bitch, moan, complain, even though they do. I'm talking about the game. They don't bitch, complain about the game. They do not quit. No rage quit. They'll continue to play. That's why it seems like they win all the time. Or They win, but in all reality, they lose. But the point is, it doesn't matter. They're playing the game. That's what it's about, which is the way you guys, my viewers, should be looking at it as well. That's why L's and W's are not necessarily the be-all, end-all. I've said it before. Take L's. Take W's. Right? It's about playing the game. Not, that's why it's called, what is that? Involuntary celibate or whatever the hell that means. You didn't have a choice. You can't play the game. It's involuntary, right? You're screwed. You didn't volunteer to be the loser, right? To be on the sidelines and spectate, right? Worst place to be. But anyways, there you go. See you on the next video.